So I had the privilege to be invited to the Black British Business Awards again. Black British Business Awards take place in the first sort of week in October, and just shines a spotlight on black excellence in the business world, and I absolutely love it. It's now in its sixth year, and yeah, it's interesting. Though I still get asked the question of why do we need the Black British Business Awards? Why do we have a White British Business Awards? And similar statements and that. So I thought I'd answer it in a bit of a different way this time, but I'm going to ask 5 questions for you to think about. I'll give you my thoughts as I work through this vlog. So my question to you is, why do so many people think that Africa is predominantly made up of starving children, flies and dirty water? Why do people cross the road or clutch their bags a bit tighter when they see someone walking towards them with a hoodie? Why do young black people seem to struggle in meeting their full potential in school and such as like? Why are more and more people being stabbed in areas as like social depression? And why do we feel tense when we see a man of Asian descent carrying a rucksack? Alright, bear with me as I go on a bit of a biblical journey with you. So, there are many that would argue that Jesus appears numerous times in the Old Testament. So this is like the first sort of stories that we ever hear about there being a God. And many people would argue that Jesus appears numerous times face to face with some of the forefathers of our faith, long before we get to the story of the child in the manger. So it's interesting when you fast forward to the Sermon on the Mount, which is the time when Jesus climbs up a mountainside and preaches the upside down kingdom, the first shall be last, the weak shall be strong. All of those things, you kind of presented with a bit of a complex scenario. Because on the one hand, you've got a seemingly strict law given to us by God that, on the surface is do this or don't do that, to life or else. On the other hand, you have Jesus, again on the surface seems to go against everything that law was trying to achieve by some of the stuff he says. But that can't be true. And why can't that be true? Because it tells us in those same stories that we're reading that Jesus was with God in the beginning, and indeed he was everything that the law was. When the law was written, it was written and fulfilled through Jesus. So he would have to be contradicting himself if that was indeed what he was doing. But you know what he wasn't? He was doing one simple thing, and that was changing the narrative. He was changing the narrative of a law that had lost its way in the hands of misguided people who thought it was one thing and were using it for this and that. And he was bringing it back to the essence of what the law was established for and how it was supposed to work in the world, how he expected it to work. I'll read you the verse in Matthew chapter 5. It says, "Do not think that I have come to abolish the law of the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. For truly I tell you, until heaven and earth disappear, not the smallest letter, nor the least stroke of a pen will by any means disappear from the law until everything is accomplished." That is not somebody that is trying to override or argue with the law. There are many narratives we have learned to accept as gospel, over the last few decades, whether they are genuine or not. Some of them are steeped in long histories that take some serious unravelling, and some of them are actually just called more recent, but they're amplified by the way it is portrayed in the media. But either way, the change to that narrative is controversial a lot of the time. It's divisive and difficult. So, in answer to my questions before, people only see one part of Africa predominantly in media, so it's impossible to know its awesome beauty unless someone shows them. The hoodie was synonymous with gang culture in its portrayal, so it's easy to see why it still brings fear. Young black people tend to only see role models in sport and music, but if you're no good at them or not interested, what would you be inspired to do? And significantly, focusing on knife crime in all media outlets, calling it epidemic, and you're going to make those who would never have carried a knife start to do so, thus turning your everyday standard arguments into a matter of life and death, and thus making the problem continue, perpetuating it more. I think we've managed to establish also over this last decade what the face of terrorism is, right? Is right. I think we know what a terrorist looks like now, don't we? To change the narrative, quick fixes won't work. That's why people get really annoyed with the stop and search policies and all this kind of thing, because they feel like quick fixes. rather than diving deeper into the underlying issue, what is required. And for this particular reason, not for knife crime and that, but just for the particular reason of giving young black people aspirations, that is why we have the Black British Business Awards, shining the spotlight on black excellence so that young black people will have role models that look like them, people they can aspire to be like. That's not just in sports and music. October is a month we celebrate Black history in the UK. We use it to raise that kind of awareness on some of the often lost history and impact of black people in the UK. My dream, however, is that one day there won't need to be a Black History Month. There won't need to be these charities pumping money into developing countries that actually are never ever developing. There won't need to be specialised business awards. Why? Because the narrative will have changed. That is my dream, that is my hope. What areas in your life could do with a change narrative? And you know what? What national narratives could you, in your little way, help to change for the better? Stay blessed. Read Matthew chapter 5, verses 17 to 20.